Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chizoba. Here we talk about marriages and relationships and everything in between. So we've been talking about money matters as the number one cause of divorce. And because we don't want to divorce, we've been ironing out some things with regards to money issues in marriage. And in our last video, we talked about sharing accounts with your spouse. Should we have one account or should we have several accounts? And with regards to that, there were so many things that popped up which we didn't address because basically that would be for a marriage that works. So the two, they are already into themselves, they know what they want, they love themselves. But how about for people that are struggling in their marriages, people that their marriages are not as smooth, people that are going through bad marriages, or maybe one spouse is very inconsiderate? And what about a spouse that is greedy or stingy? What do we do in such situation? Because you find out that there are certain spouses, they are not responsible. They want to spend the money that their wives or their husbands have made while keeping their own. They do not understand so many things that comes with marriage. And so this video is for those kind of people. First of all, the truth about money and sharing bank accounts is that money is a tool. And if we ask money to do something, that is what it will do. But if we do not have any purpose as to why we should spend money, then we will just be spending anyhow. And let's say for a spouse that is a great spender, irresponsible, they just want to spend, buy the latest stuff. It's because that person does not have a purpose in mind. That person is just looking at what they can do today. In every marriage, we need a purpose in everything we do, especially money matters, because that purpose is what will guide us towards what we need and what we want. Most times, people spend a lot or frivolously because they do not have a purpose in their marriage. And what I mean by this is that maybe we have a purpose that at so and so time in our lives, we must have been able to get our own house. Maybe we must have been able to invest in our retirement. We must have been able to have certain things in place for us, for our future. And when we paint a picture of the life we want in the future, then we'll begin to work towards that life we want today. So most of the time, because we lack purpose as to what our money should do for us, then one person will feel like, okay, so are we just going to keep that money there? I need to spend, I need to look good, I need to buy this or buy that, I need to look like others. But when there is a purpose and we have things outlined that we need to accomplish, then we bring our spouse in. Communication is key, so that spouse will understand that, okay, this is where we are heading. And with that, most of the time, a spouse that is frivolous will buy into that vision, that purpose, because they want a better life. Most of the time, when there is no clarity, there is no communication, it now becomes a problem because the other person will feel like, oh, where is all the money we are making going to? And you want me to share the same account with you? We can't, because I don't understand what we are doing with money. And another thing is, don't just put away all the money and then we say, oh, we are saving all the money in this our bank account. We have one bank account, or this is what we are going to use our money for, without considering the fact that, okay, we need to put aside a certain amount of money for pocket money for each of us so that we can as well still buy the things we want for today while saving while building our purpose for tomorrow. But in a situation whereby after all that explanation, the spouse doesn't even still care, still wants to spend frivolously, still wants to finish the whole money in the account, still wants to live anyhow. That is a spouse that is highly irresponsible. And sometimes they think they are doing the other spouse, but they actually are doing themselves, because now they are cutting themselves from the unity of marriage. Because in the long run, who is going to lose? If one has a spouse really that is irresponsible, doesn't care, doesn't want to know what happens with the money in the house, he just wants to spend their own anyhow, live anyhow. Please, it's better to have your own account, especially when that spouse is not willing to change at all. If you have your own account, if the children are still little, it's better to get someone that will help manage your account. And also, not just about managing that account, it's also important to have a will, which we are going to discuss in a future video. Why it's important to have a will, so that in the future, in case anything happens, there's a will that will tell what you actually desire. And also, if there's someone, maybe trustworthy person, say your friend, your sister or brother, that is very accountable, because it's always very important to have someone accountable handle the finances, and trustworthy also. You can actually let the person understand some things happening with your finances. But the best bet is to have a will in case of tomorrow. And then in the process, while we are still in the marriage, we could go for marriage counseling. It's very important for that spouse that is frivolous to understand that marriage is not about me. It's about putting the interest of my spouse above my own interest. When the two people begin to put their interest above themselves, it's now a win-win. So when we go for marriage counseling, when we understand certain things about marriage, we begin to work together with our spouses, and we find out that our money issues will become a thing of the past, because now we are loving each other more than we are loving ourselves, just like the Bible tells us. Also, it's very important to understand the reason why that spouse is being inconsiderate, maybe stingy, greedy. Maybe it's because of their past, they've been hurt and they are not letting go, and they feel like, oh, I cannot entrust my finances into the hands of my spouse, so I don't want to share money, I don't want to put money together with them. In such a situation, then the other spouse will now understand, oh, because you've been hurt before, it's now left for that spouse to prove themselves trustworthy. Because the truth is, when we don't understand why someone is acting the way they're acting, then we will now overrate it, now think that, okay, that this is the reason they're acting the way they're acting, whereas it's not so. So it's also important, then work with them to erase their fears, or to erase whatever thing that is going on in their lives. But if it's a spouse that altogether does not want to understand, does not want to care, doesn't even want to share anything, then it's better to just separate the accounts. It's better to just do your own investments, make your own things the way you want it to be. But one thing that one has to understand at that point is that we are no longer in marriage. Oh. It is now managed. We are now managing, just so that we'll be together, just so that we can just live together. But that is separated while married. So that's something that that spouse has to understand. For those spouses that are untrustworthy, you need to start making yourself trustworthy. You need to start building your marriage, building your life, because the truth of the matter is, no man is an island. marriage is a beautiful place if we can work together, if we can do everything we do together. That is why the Bible says, and they were naked, they were not ashamed. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Please like, share, comment, okay, so that together we can build marriages we will enjoy, not endure. Bye.